Imagine a universe where every galaxy spins in the same direction, creating a scenario where you could live your life, circle back, and go through it all over again. This concept, known as a closed, time-like curve, means you wouldn't have to worry about extraordinary remedies because you'd just return to relive your experiences. What if I suggested that time isn't what we think it is? That our past, present, and future are not a straight path, but rather a continuous loop, bringing us back to the same moments time and again. It sounds like something out of a science fiction story, right? Yet, John Wheeler, a distinguished physicist from the 20th century who coined the term black hole, believed this could be our reality. Wheeler's groundbreaking ideas proposed that we might be trapped in a time loop, with signs of this everywhere. His theory challenges our traditional views on time, suggesting that it is cyclical and that what we do today could affect what happened yesterday, just as tomorrow might be shaping today. What does this mean for us, though? Are we destined to endlessly repeat our lives without even knowing it? Stay tuned, as the insights I'm about to share might just turn your view of reality on its head. John Wheeler was no ordinary physicist. His critical role in developing 20th century physics helped deepen our understanding of black holes and quantum mechanics. But his theories went even further, proposing that reality might be stranger than we could imagine. He theorized that time doesn't move in a straight line, but loops back on itself, ensnaring us in a perpetual cycle where we experience the same events repeatedly. This idea of a time loop isn't merely an intriguing scientific notation. It's a profound concept that could fundamentally alter our understanding of life and our role in the universe. Adding to Wheeler's profound insights, it's important to consider how this perception of time might influence our daily choices and beliefs about free will. If our actions today could potentially impact the past, then every decision becomes more significant, potentially affecting not just our future, but also our history. This intertwining of time suggests that our lives are more interconnected than we might have previously thought, and that perhaps, in some way, we have the power to shape both our past and our future through the choices we make today. If our thoughts are correct, what does this mean for free will, our choices, and the very nature of what we consider reality? Wheeler introduced the idea of a participatory universe, a theory suggesting that the universe exists simply because we are here to observe it. This means that reality, including time, is not fixed. It's adaptable and influenced by our perception. We don't just live in the universe. To some extent, the universe lives within us. This idea questions everything we assume about time, existence, and the influence of human consciousness on reality. When we think about time loops, movies like Groundhog Day, where the same day repeats forever, might come to mind. Yet, Wheeler's insights go much deeper. In a wider scope, a time loop is a universal event where time bends back onto itself, endlessly repeating the same occurrences. Wheeler's theory suggests that time interacts with itself, which means the future can impact the past, and the past can likewise influence the future. This cyclic concept of time shakes up our normal understanding of linear time. In a time loop scenario, every action is possibly linked to past or future events. For example, consider that your choices today might be shaped by not only your past decisions, but also by decisions in a future you have yet to encounter. Wheeler believed that the entire universe operates like this, with quantum mechanics playing a key role in these time loops. This might appear as mere speculation, yet there is evidence supporting Wheeler's theory within the puzzling world of quantum physics. One of Wheeler's famous experiments, the delayed choice experiment, illustrates that time might not operate as we conventionally believe. In this experiment, light particles, known as photons, act differently depending on whether they are observed. Remarkably, this observation can happen even after the photons have passed through a device. The findings indicate that our current decisions can alter past events. It seems as though time is stretching back to edit its own history, and Wheeler considered this as evidence of how reality, including time, is molded by our observations. If the future can alter the past, then time is not linear, and cause and effect, principles we rely on to understand the world, may not be as clear-cut as we think. This unveils the potential for time to be more complex and interconnected than we ever imagined, prompting us to reconsider our grasp of the universe and our role within it. Expanding on Wheeler's ideas, this non-linear understanding of time could profoundly affect our perceptions of identity and personal growth. If past, present, and future are entwined, then each moment becomes a crossroad of infinite possibilities, not merely a step along a predetermined path. This perspective empowers us to view our lives as part of a larger, dynamic tapestry, where each choice reverberates through time, influencing not only our future, but also our past. This interconnectedness suggests a universe where every moment is a chance to reshape our destiny, encouraging a deeper engagement with the present, not just as a consequence of the past, but as a prelude to a future we actively shape. Constantly circling back on itself, endlessly modifying its own principles. To grasp how time loops might unfold on a grand scale, let's explore some cosmic phenomena that Wheeler thought might be linked to this concept: black holes and wormholes. Black holes are regions in space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. Intriguingly, near a black hole, time slows down, and at its core, which physicists refer to as the singularity, time might theoretically halt completely. This drastic distortion of time, near black holes, suggests that time may not follow a straight linear route, but could twist, turn, and even loop back on itself in ways beyond our usual understanding. Wormholes, alternatively, are hypothesized tunnels in the fabric of space and time, potentially linking distant locations. If they exist, they could serve as shortcuts across the cosmos, maybe even facilitating travel across time loops. Although still theoretical, these phenomena suggest a universe where time is much more elaborate than we might envision. Now, consider this intriguing possibility. If Wheeler was correct, and time loops are an integral aspect of our reality, we might currently be ensnared in one. Ever experienced déjà vu? That odd sensation that you've lived through a moment before, even though you know you haven't? Or those peculiar instances when it feels as if the past is echoing itself in uncanny ways, almost as though time is replaying past events? These could be subtle indicators that we are living within a time loop, endlessly reliving the same instances, according to Wheeler's theory. If time truly is cyclical, it prompts profound questions about free will and whether our actions are just parts of a predetermined cycle doomed to repeat. These enigmas about time and reality also connect to ancient philosophical teachings, ideas too profound to always share publicly on platforms like YouTube. If you're intrigued by these deeper, hidden truths, I have something special for you. You can access the Kybalion, a classic text on Hermetic philosophy, at no cost. Just click the link in the description and provide your email to download it. This book is packed with age-old insights into the nature of reality and consciousness, offering perspectives that could illuminate the cosmic laws governing time. Wheeler's idea of a participatory universe brings us to another fascinating point: the notion that we might be actively shaping the reality we inhabit, including the nature of time itself. In quantum mechanics, the observer's role is essential, suggesting that our observations might not just record, but also influence reality. This interaction between observer and cosmos implies that we might not just be passive residents of the universe, but active participants in its unfolding, continuously crafting the time-space fabric around us. This blend of ancient wisdom with modern science offers a compelling view of our potential to shape not only our destinies, but also the very fabric of existence. Seeing is believing, as they say, and Wheeler argued this applies not just to tiny particles, but to everything in the universe. If our observations shape reality, are we constantly reshaping the past, present, and future? Is time merely a cycle that keeps repeating because we recognize it as such? These questions challenge the core of our existence. Living this way suggests that our usual understanding of cause and effect might be wrong. We think our choices shape what comes next. But what if the future is already influencing our decisions before we make them? This twist puts a question mark on everything we experience. It suggests our lives are fixed, looping over and over. But are we really powerless? Wheeler didn't believe that. He thought by grasping our role as observers, we might change the cycle or even break free from it. Time is central to our lives. We keep track of it, try to control it, and organize our activities around it. But what if time is nothing more than a trick of the mind? What if its flow from past to future is just how our brains interpret our experiences? Wheeler's ideas force us to rethink not only time, but our understanding of awareness itself. Think about how time flies when you're having fun, or crawls when you're nervous. This shows that our experience of time is tied closely to our state of mind, influenced by emotions, focus, and memories. Studies show that our brains don't measure time consistently like clocks do. This suggests that time is not fixed, but fluid, shaped by how we view the world around us. If our brains construct time based on what we experience, does time really exist outside our perceptions? Wheeler suggested that both time and reality are creations of our minds. Without us to perceive them, they might not exist at all. Imagine the universe as a loop where our awareness affects the flow of time, and time influences our reality in return. If we see time not as a fixed sequence, but as something we can shape through our interactions and perceptions, it opens up new ways to understand the universe and our role in it. What seems like a set path could be changeable. Becoming more conscious of our perceptions and interactions could mean we're not just observing time pass. We could be shaping its course. This empowering view encourages us to explore and engage with the concept of time, potentially changing our future by actively participating in how we experience the present. This not only alters our understanding of time, but also enhances our engagement with life itself, offering a more dynamic and impactful existence. Let's delve into something quite intriguing that many of us have encountered: déjà vu. It's that odd sensation where it feels as though you've already experienced a particular moment, even though it's unfolding for the first time. While some might write it off as just a memory trick or a brain glitch, could there be more to it? Might déjà vu actually offer a peek into a time loop, hinting that we might be reliving the same events repeatedly? According to Wheeler's theory, the self-referential nature of time could indeed cause these repetitive experiences. Déjà vu then becomes a moment where the loop slightly uncovers itself, and the customary flow of time momentarily appears broken, allowing us a fleeting glimpse that something more profound is occurring. It's like briefly sensing time doubling back on itself, which generates a familiar feeling, because in a way, we truly have been in this moment before. This notion introduces the idea that time loops might not just be theoretical, but a real, subtle occurrence in our lives that we're scarcely aware of. Another phenomenon aligning with this fluid concept of time is precognitive dreams, dreams that seemingly predict the future. People often report dreaming about events that then occur in real life, sometimes with astonishing accuracy. These experiences challenge our conventional understanding of time and suggest that our linear perception might only be a part of a much larger, intricate tapestry of temporal experiences. Engaging with these ideas not only broadens our understanding of time, but also enhances our interaction with the mysteries of life, prompting us to question the boundaries of reality and our place within it. While skeptics might dismiss these as mere coincidences, Wheeler's theory could provide a more compelling explanation. If time is indeed circular, then perhaps snippets of the future can seep into our present, manifesting in our dreams. Imagine if the future and the past are not sequential but coexist within a loop. This could mean that our consciousness might be attuned to future events because they are, in some form, already occurring. In this framework, the future isn't a destination we are moving towards, but a dimension that is intricately woven with the present and the past, all circulating within the same loop. This might elucidate why some dreams come across as prophetic. Our minds could be tapping into segments of the loop that are yet to transpire for us, but have already taken place in the broader continuum of time. The notion of being ensnared in a time loop poses serious questions about the concept of free will. If we are reliving the same moments repeatedly, are our choices genuinely ours, or are they preordained? This quandary is magnified by startling discoveries in neuroscience, where studies have indicated that our brains decide actions seconds before we become conscious of these decisions. In some cases, researchers have been able to predict a person's choices up to 7 seconds before the individual is aware of deciding. Wheeler's time loop theory re-evaluates the traditional cause and effect narrative. Typically, we believe our actions shape the future, but if the future is already intertwined with our present and influencing our choices, what we consider free will might just be part of a preordained cycle that we are doomed to repeat endlessly. This concept challenges us to rethink our interactions with time, choice, and reality. One of the most intriguing indications that time might not function as we perceive it comes from the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where particles, regardless of the distance separating them, seem to communicate instantaneously. The peculiar aspect of quantum entanglement is its apparent disregard for the passage of time, allowing particles to interact with each other seemingly outside the traditional bounds of time and space. This not only reinforces the idea that time might be more malleable than we presume, but also that our conventional understanding of temporal and spatial relationships could be fundamentally flawed. In the realm of Wheeler's hypothesis on time loops, the phenomenon of quantum entanglement may indicate that temporal boundaries do not restrict particle interactions. If particles are capable of forming connections across vast distances, seemingly unaffected by time, might this suggest that time itself is not linear? Such entanglement could be viewed as evidence that time loops exist on a quantum scale, indicating that events may be interconnected through time in complex ways. As particles impact one another instantaneously, it's conceivable that future happenings could influence past events, creating a continuous cycle of cause and effect. This insight leads to a significant inquiry prompted by Wheeler's theory. Are we caught in an unending time loop, reliving identical moments unknowingly? observations from quantum physics, our subjective perception of time, and phenomena like déjà vu and precognitive dreams all suggest that time might not move in a straightforward line, but rather could be circular, endlessly looping and ensnaring us in cycles that are only beginning to be understood. This question has captivated thinkers for ages. Wheeler's insights into the possible reality of time loops invite deeper existential questions. Is escape possible? Historically, Eastern philosophies such as Buddhism and Hinduism have regarded time as cyclical, viewing life as an eternal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara. From this vantage point, existence is not a straight path, but a repetitive cycle, where the soul evolves through various lifetimes driven by karma until it achieves enlightenment and escapes the cycle. This ancient notion of samsara strikingly mirrors the modern concept of time loops, suggesting that individuals are trapped in repetitive cycles influenced by their past actions and decisions. Yet, just as Eastern traditions suggest that freedom from samsara is possible through spiritual enlightenment, modern thinkers propose that a deeper comprehension of cosmic time loops could reveal methods to break free. The secret to escaping these repetitive cycles may lie within our own consciousness, the core element that shapes our experience of time. By enhancing our understanding of how our consciousness interacts with time, we could not only recognize the presence of these loops, but also find ways to overcome them. This proactive approach encourages not merely resignation, but active participation in unraveling the enigmas of time, potentially forging paths to liberate ourselves from the confines of these repetitive cycles. If we can harness our understanding of time's true nature, we might initiate a new era of human experience, where we no longer view time as a barrier, but as a continuum that we can navigate and perhaps even manipulate. Understanding and interacting with this cyclical pattern of time could empower us not just to anticipate future challenges, but also to actively influence them, providing a profound sense of agency over our own timelines. According to Wheeler, our observations and awareness shape the universe, suggesting that our consciousness might disrupt the never-ending cycle of time. Realizing this might be our first step toward breaking free from this continuous loop. Scientific approaches to escaping a time loop. Switching from spiritual to scientific viewpoints. If time really is cyclical, how can we escape it? Is there a scientific path out of this repetitive loop? A promising answer might be the multiverse theory, which suggests the existence of numerous parallel universes, each unfolding slightly different events. If we are stuck in a time loop in our universe, perhaps we could move to another universe where time doesn't loop back on itself. Some scientists believe that quantum mechanics, especially concepts like quantum tunneling or wormholes, could unlock these alternate realities. Wormholes, hypothetical tunnels through space-time, could theoretically connect two distant points in space and possibly in time. Though it's still a speculative idea, the thought of using a wormhole to escape a time loop and enter a new dimension where time flows differently is fascinating. Although proving the existence of wormholes is a long way off, the idea that time and space are linked and that wormholes might allow us to navigate both introduces incredible possibilities. If time loops are real, wormholes might be our ticket out, enabling us to experience time in a completely new way. Finding internal solutions to time loops. What if escaping a time loop doesn't rely on external technology or scientific breakthroughs, but on something within us? Wheeler's concept of a participatory universe suggests that reality is molded by our observations. Nothing really exists until we consciously observe it. If time is indeed looped, our own consciousness might be what keeps us tied to this repetitive cycle. The idea that we could change our observation and experience of time to break the loop is compelling. Practices like mindfulness meditation, known to enhance awareness, have been shown to alter how we perceive time. People who practice mindfulness often report that time seems to slow down and they feel more present in the moment. If our experience of time is indeed influenced by our consciousness, then altering our awareness could change how we experience time and perhaps even allow us to escape the loop. A fascinating aspect of this is lucid dreaming, where the dreamer is aware they are dreaming and can control the dream environment. This ability to consciously influence one's dream world shows the potential of consciousness to break the conventional boundaries of time and reality. Diving deeper into such practices could not only shift our perception of time, but also potentially provide a way out of the time loop, using our inner capabilities to change the very structure of our experience. Additionally, this exploration into the power of consciousness might lead us to develop new mental techniques or enhance existing ones like meditation and lucid dreaming to more effectively manipulate our perception of time. Such advancements could offer profound insights into our relationship with time, potentially freeing us not only from the cyclical patterns we find ourselves in, but also from the constraints of linear time itself. This could redefine our understanding of time, space, and our own potential within the universe. In lucid dreams, individuals become aware they are dreaming and frequently gain the ability to mold their dream environments. Some even manage to control the pace of time in their dreams, either decelerating it, accelerating it, or replaying certain moments. This brings up an interesting possibility. Could this skill in dreams reflect a potential ability in our waking lives? If we become aware of the time loop we are stuck in, akin to realizing we're dreaming, could we then manipulate time within that loop, or possibly escape from it completely? Lucid dreaming offers an intriguing glimpse into what might be possible if we could consciously control our experiences. Developing awareness of time in everyday life. To break free from a time loop, a shift in our consciousness is necessary. How do we begin to cultivate this awareness in everyday life? Mindfulness meditation is a powerful technique for increasing awareness of the present moment. By focusing on the present, we can start to see time not as a dominant force, but as a collection of moments we live through. This shift in perception could allow us to notice and disrupt recurring cycles in the loop. Another effective method is lucid dreaming. By learning to become aware during our dreams, we can explore time differently and deepen our understanding of its role within our consciousness. Reflective journaling also supports this process by helping us spot recurring patterns in our daily lives. Writing down and reassessing our experiences might expose cycles that hint at our own experiences of looping. The influence of collective consciousness. However, escaping a time loop might require more than individual effort. The concept of collective consciousness, our shared understanding and common beliefs, could also play a critical role in influencing the progression of time. If we all exist within a responsive universe, then our joint actions and perceptions could potentially reshape the fabric of reality. Is it possible that a worldwide change in how we perceive our involvement in a time loop could free us from it? This notion, although challenging, aligns with Wheeler's ideas and encourages us to consider whether through personal practices like mindfulness and lucid dreaming, or a wider societal change in consciousness, we could contest and perhaps transform our experience of time. The journey towards liberation from time loops. Contemplating the possibility of breaking free from a time loop leads us to profound questions about reality, free will, and our place in the cosmos. If time is indeed an endless cycle, escaping it may require a significant shift in how we perceive and interact with our temporal environment. The key to liberation might not be found in technological or scientific breakthroughs, but in our ability to expand our consciousness. By adopting both individual and collective strategies for understanding and experiencing time, we have the potential to not only navigate, but actively influence our journey through time, creating opportunities to live unfettered by the limitations of repetitive cycles. This unified effort could transform our existential limits and foster a deeper connection with the universe, ultimately enhancing our collective experience and understanding of reality. In conclusion, exploring the concept of time loops through both lucid dreaming and mindfulness meditation offers us unique insights into how we might not only perceive, but actively shape our experience of time. As we delve deeper into the implications of collective consciousness, we recognize that our combined perceptions and actions could potentially transform the temporal fabric of our reality. This suggests that by broadening our awareness both individually and collectively, we have the power to challenge and possibly escape the cycles that bind us. If we're seeking more empowering insights and transformative ideas like these, remember to subscribe and join us on this journey to unravel the mysteries of time and consciousness.